Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Traders Lab. I'm your host, Tom B. Thanks for stopping by today. I stream live Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 1 p. Eastern Standard Time, and this stream's about integrating Bookmap order flow tools with auction market theory, using volume profile as a chassis in the intraday developing time frame. It is based on structured trades that are available to everyone at no cost in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community, as well as a library of webinars that gives you a high-level overview of this process. Trader Lab is a community of like-minded traders who come together to leverage their collective experience in order to do better. And it is based on the business side of trading. What is trading? What is the business of trading? And this might be a bit different than most developing retail traders imagine it to be. So subject to how you experience the business, how you've been doing, you may want to stop by Trader Lab. It might be a good place to visit on your journey. And remember, this is not a trade calling room. If I do get into the live market, we'll go there and discuss it like I do quite often in these streams. On the other side of that, the purpose of the stream is to show you market mechanics, why the market tends to do some of the things it does, how you might build out a business model or trade plan to actually participate and interact with the other participants based on having a statistical edge. The business of gaming is very much the business of trading. They're similar in the sense of how casinos operate. And if you can understand that, it's not about predicting. It's not about the need to be right. It's not about knowing. It's not about confirmation. It's not about any of the things that we would like to have. Because psychologically, we need those things for comfort. We're wired to avoid risk. We're wired to stay away from the saber-toothed tiger, and it's worked pretty well for survival of the species. But in the gaming environment, it's the exact opposite. It's 100% random. So what do we do? How do we deal with the psychological impediments to becoming a consistent, potentially profitable, sustainable trader? Well, that's what the Trader Lab is all about. Helping you understand the business of trading, the typical psychological elements that are pitfalls for all of us, and maybe how to build some structure and a business model, just like the casinos have, that gives you a statistical edge, and you only engage when you have that edge. Trading is not a video game. It's really a performance sport, if you will. All the work is done outside of market hours, and it's no different than any high performance endeavor. You have a plan, you vetted the plan, you know the plan has statistical edge. You also know you don't know the outcome of any time you interact. But over time, just like the casinos, if you have an edge, it'll show up. Assuming you actually have an edge, you've done the work, and then you can execute it. So it's not as easy as it sounds, but it can be done, and that's the business. So if you're interested in the business, come to Trader Lab. Use the link in the bottom of YouTube if you're so inclined. There is no cost. And you can access all the resources. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice or recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please remember this is not a trade calling room. This is for educational purposes only. What I do is review the developing structured trades that are available to all of you to reverse engineer and make your own. The idea of the Trader Lab is not there's one way to trade. That's absolutely not the way this works. What it is, if you can understand how the market works, you can then extract structures or behaviors once you become familiar with them that tend to repeat. The market is random, but there are certain behaviors that do repeat. And if you recognize the conditions where those behaviors might show up, that's called the trade plan. And then it's a structured trade. And then does that condition and that when that shows up, does it over time give you a net positive outcome? That's called an edge. So let's go see. By the way, there's 60 PDFs you can download if you're interested in learning about structured trades. These are just broad strokes. They're ideas. I'm not a vendor. There's no cost for this. I've been doing this 45 years, so I've got some experience, and also I've gone down the same path you have. The difference is I started earlier and kept at it longer. And I kept waking up with something called Trader Groundhog Day, which is really working hard and coming out with the same outcome. One of the problems we all have is that we have winning trades. And you might think that's a good thing, but actually it's a problem. If you have winning trades but with no statistical edge, then you're sitting maybe with the gamblers at the table and they have winning hands. So we think winning trades is just something to be improved on. But winning trades may only be random outcomes in a random environment, not a statistically valid outcome in a random environment. If we can accept the market's 100% random, then our focus might not be on certainty and confirmation. It might be on statistical probabilities in a random environment. There is no certainty. There's nothing other than maybe. One moment, please. Did Rhythmic just go down, guys? Can you just give me some insight here, guys? Anybody having any data issues at the moment? It's working for you? Okay, something just not working for you. Rhythmic went down. Okay, well, that's interesting. Better put another quarter in the slot. Sorry, guys. This is Investor RT. It's my higher time frame program that I use. It's excellent for market profile, volume profiles. And here's what I want to show you. This is Friday's sell-off, and we closed on the low of the day. This orange line, now everybody defines these the way they want to view the market. What I do is I look at the last swing high to swing low, and I draw a profile around it so I can see where the high volume is and the low volume is in these structures, because these are what's called distributions. Now, for the whole swing, this orange line is where the highest volume is in all of this. So we might call this the fair price. And on Friday, we closed at the fair price. And I don't know about you, but I was thinking Monday could be really nasty, that we might gap or continue taking the stops out under these buyers. So that was my thinking. Now, what I think doesn't matter. It's just what I anticipate. Now, there's another piece to this. The market, this is something, and I did a webinar on this, and I still see my data is down. Chicago server. Alan, did anyone switch servers on Rhythmic here? I haven't seen what's going on in my streaming Bookmap, but I guess we'll find out real soon. So this is called VPOC migration. I did a webinar or a stream specifically on this, and it is a somewhat, I perceive to be an advanced concept, and it is very important. And we apply these processes in all time frames of fractals. So what you see happening here happens everywhere. So when we get down into microstructures, we are actually using the same behaviors. So what is VPOC migration? What does it mean? Well, the way I made these terms up, they didn't exist when I started doing this. VPOC migration is a measure of high volume. And the market's purpose is to try to figure out what's a fair price and what's unfair. If the market gets too high, it might be unfair. I'm not paying that. And then we come down. And then we can go lower and try to find what's too low. But what happens if we come to a price and then that price, hold on one second. Oh, it's only, yeah, let's see what's going on here. Sorry, I'm distracted here looking at some data issues. Okay, as this is moving down, it is saying that the price might be too high. This is now retail, and we close on the low looking for this. Instead, we gap higher today inside of yesterday's or Friday's range. And where was the price too high? 60, 68. If I open above all this, then these can act as support. And again, I don't know, it's not for me to know. Knowing is not part of the thrill. So let's see what happens here. This is RTH open, 8:30 Central Time, my time. Now we want to remember 68. This is a sweep. Now, right here, right coming into the RTH open, this is just a short. Now, this is ETH. We got to understand that. Okay. This is the RTH open right here. So I'm looking against this level. 1 second, please. I got to make one little adjustment here. Turn something off that should, that I don't want on the chart right now. These green lines. So this right here sets up a down rotation. And when I get a buy sweep, often it's an indication of a pending reversal. So I know right here is the high volume. And we can see it based on this node sticking out right there. And I always think of these like micro volume points of control. And what high volume represents in the auction is a retail price in a little store down the street. So if we think of trading like shopping, we're trying to figure out what's too high. Well, how do we know this is too high? Well, if we leave it, then it might be too high. And what happened up here? Sweep. And what happened over here? We had our buyers, but what happened to those buyers? They were absorbed. And now you don't know that, except we have a confluence of elements right here. So let's see what happens here. Things are not working right here. Got some strange behavior. Sorry, guys. Just got some strange stuff going on here. We're having some technical issues here, you might say. Okay, guys, you guys, I'm sorry, excuse me on this. With Rhythmic, have you guys in the Trader Lab been changing servers, or is it still down? Is the Frankfurt server working? Can I get a yes or no? So this sets up the first short. Too high, microstructure right here. If I draw a little box, which I'm not going to do, this is resistance right here where the sellers took over. This is microstructure. Now, actually, I'm going to put a little line in here so you can see the volume, and I'm going to draw a little box around this. And then I'm going to take this stuff off of here. I don't want to distract us from structure. But here's what it says. Now, this is a language. I don't use indicators, so what I have to do is I am the indicator. And what is an indicator? It's just a translator of behavior. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going sweep, absorption. Sellers are in control. This price is too high. The sellers took over here. I have my RTH open. I get my selling against my volume. This is resistance. That is resistance. That is resistance. So this sets up a short here or here. Now what? Great question. Let's see what we get. Where's too high? This is called a variable high volume node. Just follow the story. This yellow line So there's a couple ways to kind of think about this. Frankfurt is working, Tony? All right. Hold on one second here. I can't, well, okay. Hold on, guys. I'm going to see. I don't know. I'm showing, let me look elsewhere here. I got to see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here at the moment. So I can't mess with this. So I guess we'll just find out when we get there. If I don't have data, then we don't have data. So this is too high, and this is too high. When I come back up here, I test this yellow line, which is the first indication of volume, and we rejected it. Sellers are here, sellers are here. All these are shorts in the Trader Lab, short, and back here, short in the Trader Lab. Now here, I see a sweep, and I'm concerned. I'm thinking, well, my stop's got to be out here, just so you know. VPOC migration. So now, because the volume point of control is moving lower, I'm suspecting we're going to go lower because it's saying, and let's look at language, that this is too high. So if this is shopping and the participants in the store for S&Ps go, I'm not paying that, I'm not paying that, we come back. What about these sellers here? Might they sell it again? This is kind of how support and resistance works. The other part about it is we can pop into stops and then find our sellers. So if you run a very tight stop, there's always the chance the momentum is going to come into your stops. So when I think about stop placement, just personally, what I like to do is give it a couple ticks. Because if we got into stop, let's just say we came up here and we just took this by a few ticks and then rolled out of it. That's another short. So I don't put my stop there. I'm more inclined to have it up here. But I know the behavior. So if I come up here, I know that these sellers can activate again. And that's what you see happen here. And now this is support. So let's go watch the behavior. This is called VPOC migration. So this suggests too high. This is now the retail price. So in Trader Lab, this is a short if it's in your trade plan. Now let's get into this a little bit more. Now remember I pointed out at the top of the stream, what was it? Seems like a long time ago with these data issues, that this is support. We opened above it. This is our retail price. If I open above a price that was fair on Friday, it suggests that the shorts in this leg might get squeezed. So we open higher, and what do we see? We get selling. Now let's think about what that might suggest. If I get selling here and I have shorts in the market, if I run out of sellers, I can then turn around and squeeze the morning sellers and squeeze some of these guys. So that had me set up after the short looking for longs. And I have to come back over here to 68. Now it could go anywhere. There's no prediction in this, but let's come back to what's going on here. So remember 68. Now, just a moment. I have a feeling that this Bookmap, the feed on this specific Bookmap that I stream from is not In other words, I can't trade live off of this one. So it's only the paper trading, I believe, because everything else is working okay. My regular rhythmic on my trading account, all that is working okay. It's annoying, okay, right? So, too high, microstructure. That structure is here, just to give you a little idea of this. Sellers are here. Where's resistance? It's in here, and it's there. Resistance. Break low. Where's my resistance? It's there. Break low, down into my area of support, which is around 68. Who knows? Market rotates here. Now here I see a buy sweep. Buy sweep suggests rotation down. This is a sell sweep, suggests rotation up. Just telling you, that's what it suggests, doesn't it? And the market does whatever it's in the mood, So this, where do we come back with this? Where's my micro high volume? It's right here. And you could see it in the profile over there. So what I do with the profile, and again, it's just a way to interpret what is high volume. It's really, to me, the key. The key is high volume. And what's high volume? If you consider these are like stores, in other words, participants are shopping in here. If this is too high, we're going to run out of buyers. If this gets too low, we're going to have buyers down here absorbing the sellers, and then we can counter rotate. But what happened up here? Didn't we have sellers here? Well, if we come up and the sellers are still in control, aren't they going to sell some more? That's what that is. Then we counter rotate, and this is the noise. Now, the idea in trading is you can trade in the noise if you want to, but I think the opportunities in the larger swings, but you can use the noise, read what's going on in the microstructure. So the sellers are there. This is resistance. Buyers come over here. They hit where the sellers were activated. Sellers say, here, have some more. Thanks for playing. Sellers, there's a sweep, looking for a reversal. Don't get it. Come down. Rotate up to where? To the high volume, which is there. I suspect I'm not going to have any data on this when I get to real time. So that could be interesting, huh? Too high, break low. Resistance is here. I'm going to throw a little line in here for you just so you can see a little bit of a sequence of how this might work. I'm also going to draw a little box around this. I'm just pulling this out of left field. It's like pulling it out of air. And this is language. So if you think about what is going on here, when this buyer comes up here and we don't go anywhere, and I have the sweep, this sets up the reversal. When the sellers who are here, and don't forget, they were over here. It's these guys, in my opinion. And let's look where the high volume is. I'm just going to draw a little line for you. I know I'm going to get line crazy over here, but this is, in this structure, this is where the price is too high and the sellers left it. If I come back to it and the sellers were active over here, I get the sweep saying reversal potential, and I test right here is another short or whatever, or a trade management opportunity. Who knows, right? Now resistance is here. Let's watch. I get a sweep here. So this is still resistance. I get VPOC migration. That is saying this is too high. So right here, there's two possibilities. I bounce off, break low, or if I get through this, then I can come back and come through. Let's see what it does. Okay, right here. So right here, I come the VWAP. This is a structured trade in Trader Lab, and we have our sweep, and this suggests possibility to come down here. VWAP to VPOC, it's a structured trade. and that's the target, VPOC. Structured trade in the Trader Lab. So you got your sweep, you got your mid at the time, and you got your VWAP. So this is a structured trade. This is short to there, and then you're looking to go here. That was the trade, by the way. Test again, back to here. So VWAP to VPOC, VWAP to VPOC, and right here, we're looking for this. And this has a high probability statistic. You have to vet these for yourselves, and they're all available to you in Trader Lab. This is kind of annoying not having the data. A little bit of a problem, huh? For trading. You know, my other platform is fine. So anyway, right here, remember that I showed you at the top of the stream the 68. No clue. There's no precision. It's just something that we need to be conscious of, that this right here, 68, was a level that was too high. Well, support and resistance. Resistance, resistance, resistance. What's this? Well, potential support, and you get under it, and then it becomes resistance. What do? Well, we gap above it, and we come down and check this. Could have done anything. So all I know is it's possible. I don't know what's going to happen. I trade in the shorter time frame. By that I mean I'm overlaying everything on a higher time frame. But as a day trader, I'm operating in this. So anyway, that was the target. That trade went to the happy hunting ground. So what the idea of this trade is, if you're shorting, you're scaling here. If you're shorting, you're scaling here. Okay? So you'd be risk neutral, and you're going for that, which is a nice trade, you know, going from, 74 down to 66. It's almost a 10-point trade plus a scale. So you would have got taken out of this one, and that's life in the fast lane. Now, let's look at the change in behavior. If this is now the retail price, and I know resistance is up here, then I know that if I get my buyers, and right here, I come back to the mid. So this trade right here is chop, and it's difficult in the sense of, so you guys know, at least for me, years ago I gave up on the idea of knowing what's going to happen. I can only anticipate what might happen and where it might happen, and even then it's just random. But if I know what it says, because this is a language, then I know that this is the retail price. If I come outside and I have a sweep and I hit the mid, and we think we might be going lower, and I have statistics, that's why I'm going there. Anyway, all this is fine until here. Once I break above here, once I'm above, then all bets are off. And then that's it. The trade's over. So let's look at some behavior here. I'm going to show you some ideas. And since I believe I'm not going to have any data, I'm going to spend a little more time, I think, with what we have until we get to no data. If you guys have questions, please post them. I think I'm going to have a little bit of a challenge. How we doing? By the way, Bookmap, Trader Lab, are you guys been able to reconnect by switching servers with Rhythmic, or is that still a problem? We get our selling icebergs here, a lot of selling icebergs. We get a sweep. This sweep suggests higher, not lower. Now, in the Trader Lab, we were talking, I think, well, no, not about this one. This is a distribution. So what's happened now is we found too low. We got our morning shorts in there. We are squeezing them, and now we have the potential to squeeze the shorts from Friday and the new shorts. So that sets up a long bias at the moment. Now, what was resistance? Let's come back to a few ideas. this was too high, I labeled it, and this was too high, we left it, and the current retail price is here. I got to label it. So I'm following a process. All I'm trying to do is stay in alignment with this thing. And just try to follow it. So when this shifts up, this suggests that everything below now is too low. Same concept of the higher time frame that I showed you. So where's my areas that were too high? You know, support, resistance, that kind of concept. You remember that? I know, we all learned that one. But in the profile world or the auction world, this yellow line represents high volume. And what high volume is where there's an agreement between a lot of buyers and sellers. But if we run out of buyers, then the sellers take over. This becomes resistance. And then this becomes resistance. When we come across them, it becomes support. So let's just see the change in behavior. Notice here, so right here, no idea, right? I come across, so this is my resistance. Now it's starting to act like support. These are shorts in the trade line. So I'm still looking for it to continue down. So, but let's look what happens when there's change. Right here is the last location that was resistance. Let's see if we can see anything interesting. What happens right there? Right there is a potential long, and this is a little more advanced. It's off of this. So if I'm tracking, and here I'm not getting long because I'm going for a statistic down here. So I have no, but when it comes across and I come across the mid and the VWAP and you see the change, then it's the squeezeteria. So if I get long here, I need to be scaling here. And then I'm looking for it to take out the high. And then I have the ETH high has a high probability, and wherever it goes. And I have targets up above. So this is a long, and then we're looking for this. This has a high probability. VPOC migration says everything below is too low. And notice where we are here. Notice where we pull back. Resistance becomes support. And now we are out here. This is called mean reversion. So now it's longs. So now we come up here, and I was narrating this in TraderLab. This is really important. Now I have targets at the time up above. 6,100 is one of them, and this one up here, 07. So these are where I had my targets spread for the longs that I had, among other things. So this, when we're rotating here, this is a distribution. And what it is balance. So what happens with balance is, if we pull outside, we're looking for it to rotate up, assuming the trend is up, right? We're making some assumptions here. This is a sweep. This suggests the potential to counter rotate. So I know a couple of things. I have what's called the IB high, first hour's high, and that has over 90% probability, and that happens at 9:30 Central Time over here, that it'll get taken out. So, and we have a couple of trades here. So the first hour's high was created here. So if I pull back and I can get a long on, and I'm pulling out to this outside edge, this creates something called mean reversion. And I'm looking, if now subject to my plan, if I know I have over 90% probability of taking this out, and I also have this, I have a good shot at coming out above here. So this is a potential long here. or out here to come up and take this out, and then we have what's called the IB continuation long. So let's look at this. So we pull outside here. We have the IB stat. We pull back here. Outside edges here. And then we're looking to continue. So everything is wonderful. Having a great time. Now, here, and this I posted in the Trader Lab to be conscious of this distribution. And it's not for any reason other than I have a sweep, and now I have this. And what this is the same as this, but it's micro. It's shorter time frame. When the market consolidates, it is compressing volume. And if we think the trend might be up, we're going to be attempting to be buying it for what's called mean reversion. So it's reversion trading. It's outside in. The thing with this reversion is that it has to get above here and take out, and keep going. This is a concerning element, but it's an element. It doesn't mean anything else. So I posted in the Trader Lab, watch the high volume area. Now, when I say watch it, it doesn't mean anything more than that, because remember, it's a random environment. I know what it says, and since I'm the indicator in my brain says, well, why are we pausing here? And we're checking these rotations. So I know at the moment, sweep, and I know that right here, I have selling icebergs. I can see them. And why is this buyer sitting out here? It's like, what are you doing? Well, when we see the green delta, it's the aggressors, but aggressors are buy stops. That's part of the delta. And then what happens? The key is not that you see an aggressor, because there's always a passive side. So what happens? So let's watch the change here. And now nobody knows. So me, I have no clue. It's not my job. So here I know I have a seller. I have the sweep. I have my volume is here. I'm going to put a little line over it. And what I know is if I come outside, out here somewhere, or back here, that I need to get over this to go higher. That's what I know. After that, I don't know. It's not my job to know. I can't know, so I don't know. So but I have another trade here. So what I have is resistance, and I need to clear this. If I come outside, this is going to be my potential resistance, and then I got to clear it. Let's watch. Okay, this is the IB. Now let's watch the behavior. Right here, I have my resistance. I pull outside right here, and I'm looking here, right here, and I get VPOC migration. Now I'm going to label this because this is my new retail price. But here's the thing about a retail price. What the idea of the volume point of control is, this yellow line is the highest volume, but it also gives us a lot of information. What is the reaction to it? Is it too low, too high? What do we do? I get the migration, and what I'm looking for is when this shifts up, I'm looking for it to go back here. When this shifts up, I'm looking for it to continue higher. When this shifts up and it breaks low, that's what you say, trouble in River City. Because what's happening is now we just rejected this. Now let's see. So this is too high. This is now VPOC migration. So too high. What do I do here? It's now resistance. I'm going to label it. So if you took a long at the IB, you would have taken a stop, and then it sets up another trade. It's called the IB failure. Now, the thing with the IB failure is, now for me, right here, I'm long. So right here, it fails, okay? So, that's life. Then we come down back here, mid and VWAP. This is a structured trade in Trader Lab. It is a long back to here. So this is called mean reversion. And what we're trying to do is get long out here to come back to the mean, and then maybe up here if everything goes according to plan, which it does not. And I think this is where the data dropped out, right? Yeah. So I have no data either here. This ought to be interesting. I'm going to try to restart this. Frankfurt, huh? Nice spot. Let's go there. I don't know if we are actually connected or not. No. I don't think I'm getting any data, guys. So now, um, any other of this data working here, guys? I just tried Frankfurt. I don't have anything. Yeah, I'm not getting any data from Frankfurt. How about you guys? Trader Lab, you guys have anything? You switched to Frankfurt and it's working. Huh? Why am I so lucky? If you're in YouTube, apologies here. It seems this is happening. Oh, I see what's going on here. This seems to be a bit of a problem across Rhythmic. Pretty unusual, but things happen in trading. That's why you always have to use stops. Um, yeah, I'm getting. Oh, it just started. Looks like the connection is now working. Let's see here if I'm getting any data. No. Looks like Chicago is starting to work again. Um, try Chicago. Um, see if we can get going, and then if I can get this data started again, then I might be able to get something going here. No, no, it doesn't seem I can get data here. No. No. I'm still not getting data here, guys. Sorry about that. Not able to get any data. See if I can get it to connect. Oh, that's unusual. Got to be the data. Oh, we're getting some data. That's amazing. All right. Let's see if we can get going again here. Well, I think I've missed a little bit. What do you think? Support is where? Here, VHVN. Uh, the high volume is in this structure, and this is a potential area to observe. Kind of lost my way here at the moment. Okay, a little hard to pick up from the middle of nowhere. You know? Yeah, it's still all messed up here. Whoa. Sorry, guys. I don't think I can do too much with this here because for me, when I'm trading or at least doing anything, I'm kind of in a narrative and I stay with it. So this is problematic. Needless to say, this stream's not going to be kept up on. It's not going to be added to the library, that's for sure. Yeah. Uh, so I have nothing going on here, guys. I certainly cannot talk about anything other than what I see in front of me here. So statistically, the overnight VPOC is still on the table. This was the short we were going for at the open. So it just means that, but we have to watch our behavior in here, and this was too low. So these are areas to observe. There are going to be stops under this low, which sets this up. And if we can get below there, we have some other things to be thinking about, not to mention this down here. So there's a couple ideas here. So that's it. Sorry about this if you're in YouTube with the technical problems. So I hope you'll forgive, and let's point the finger rhythmic because that's the problem today. And it did not affect my trading platform because I'm not hooked up to one of these whatever you want to call them, funded accounts. I'm hooked up to my regular trading account, so that has not had any problem. But I guess all the funded account ones and the paper, like this is a hooked up to the same kind of server that your funded account would be hooked up to, because it's a demo. It's a rhythmic demo account, actually. I don't know if you know that you could actually add on to your, if you have a regular trading account, and I know many of you don't have trading accounts, many of you have funded accounts, which kind of go through the same, I think they kind of go through the same kind of gateway because it's kind of a paper trading thing. And this is set up to go through a similar gateway. So that's why it went down. But my other did not. So interesting, huh? So nothing going on here. This is too low. This is potential support. Let's go look at it. Again, I'm really not in touch with the market at the moment because of all this distraction. If something like this happens to me when I'm trading, I'm done, because mentally I'm no longer in the groove, if you will, of alignment psychologically. I'm distracted, I'm stressed, so I don't need to trade until maybe in the afternoon or maybe not anymore for the day. I just don't even think about it. Because now if I could be responding to FOMO, look at what I missed, I could have been short. And now there's this sense of I have to get it back. No, that's not the way this works. The way this works is you have to be in the right mental state. You have to know what you're going to do. And if things get scrambled, whether it's here in the technology or whether it's something external, a phone call or a situation pops up, in your trading environment that's disruptive, you need to know that you should not be trading. It just doesn't matter. And if you feel the need to do something because you're sitting here for 4 hours or 5 hours, that's not the way this business works. This is a performance business, and sometimes the actual skill is in not trading. It's about knowing where your edge is, and if something disrupts your edge, then you should not trade. You should just, and for me, I'm just telling you me, there's, how many days of trading are there? So for me, if I don't have a trade, or mentally I'm distracted, if I can settle down mentally and get back into concentration and focus, then I would continue trading. But if I'm still thinking about rhythmic and what I missed and all this other stuff, and if there's another thing in the back of my head that says, is rhythmic stable? If I put a trade on, do I have to be concerned about the data? When you add another piece in, doesn't that add another emotional stimulus into the mix? So that's why for me it's no big deal. It's just part of. I've been in the market when the CME went down, so I can tell you. I don't remember how long ago. I mean, this is many years ago, but the actual servers went down at the CME, and there was no data coming out and had positions on. So I will tell you that that'll give you some indigestion. So this is not as bad as it could be. Now that was bad. And I think all the orders were lost off the server when that happened. So if you have OCOs and all that kind of stuff sitting out there, they had to do a reset or something. And this might have been in the 1990s, or I don't remember. But it was one of those experiences where not only does a jaw drop on the desk, but everything drops on the desk and on the floor. For lot Tony, you're asking why short. Everything was pointing up. Well, it's pointing up until it's not. That's the thing, Tony. When there's change, you need to be narrating. So if the market breaks a structure, and this is everybody, how do we recognize change? It's when the market doesn't do what you think it is going to do based on your read. So when we were up at that distribution, up, I think wherever it was, this one up here, and we started rotating, if we're going to continue going higher, like here, boom, boom, rotate too low, now we go up here, retail, and now to continue going, we need to continue the progression. Well, when you break under resistance, which is there, and you get a sell trigger, now you have a couple possibilities. I posted in TraderLab, watch this level. And for me, I was long, and this is mean reversion. So it was mean reversion, stressing the mean, the word mean, because it's outside in trading, Tony. And then this is resistance. So I know I've got to clear this. And what do I see? It's rejected. There's my sellers. Now, right here, I get VPOC migration. So I'm going, well, I'm outside and I got to regain this and get over that. And we didn't do it. Right there, it's over, Tony. At least over for the moment, over completely, no idea. But right here is where it changes. I mean, this is right here when we broke out of here, it was already like big trouble. This is your IB, break low. It sets up the IBF, but it's really not confirmed, if that's the right word, because what we have to do here is we've got to get back here. But we already fell out of the low volume area here, so we already rejected this. So this thing right here is in trouble here, the long. And then this really seals the fate. And then we break here. This sets up shorts in the TraderLab. So we have VPOC migration, break below. What does that tell us? Too high, too high. Now what? Break below. We come now VWAP to VPOC. This is a long, mid, back here, VPOC migration. These are longs, but it's suspect. Now right here, you can't get back above here and here, trouble. Now you break here. This is support. You come back up here. You're at an outside edge. It is sloppy. It is a potential short, or it's no trade. It's whatever your plan is. I just wait. If I don't have trades that, I'm not here to make something happen. I'm kind of patient about the whole thing. Remember, we're not hourly workers. This is about waiting for an edge. Just because the market's rotating around does not mean you should interact, because this is noise. And if you could try to, anytime you see noise, it's not when you ought to be interacting. You want to be thinking strategically about where's the stops for these shorts. Well, we know we've got mid and VWAP. We know this is an outside edge out here. We fell out of it. There's a low volume node. And we know there's another low volume node up in here. This. So I have these areas to observe, and I'm looking. Hold on a second here. Let me just make sure my levels are right. I'm still looking to go here. So I can do anything, right? So this is trading. So if I'm going to get involved in the market, it's only going to be if I have an advantage. And I'm not going to, if this leg is short, I know now there's buy stops in this leg. So I'm trading when the market counter rotates, it's going into the stops of the retail traders that are trailing. Now, what I don't know is how far. This is part of this thrill of randomness. So let's see if we can figure this out. So this is an outside edge. I'm above it. That sets up the next outside edge, which is going to be here. And then there's here. This is very sloppy behavior. So I'm going to label this so we don't forget where it is. And there's going to be another one before that. And if we do get the opportunity, it is a short. And this is not a trade recommendation. So I have there and I have out here. And a couple others. So let's just mark these up. And then we'll see if the market comes up to these locations. And by the way, if you have questions, please post them. I'll do my best, considering I'm a bit out of touch with things here. How are we doing in YouTube? Ferdad, the TraderMap Lite is designed to filter out the bracketing algo, which is here, this. So it distorts, and it because it's it's just a bracketing algo. So I call it garbage, I guess, is being generous. So what the TMAP Lite does, it takes it out, and now I can see the adds and pulls in the limit order book, which is what I'm interested in. So that's what the TMAP Lite is. It's amazing. So here's some support. Let's watch the algorithmic behavior. So when we're looking at this, it's supporting the long side. So let's see if we can get some ideas on where locations might be that we may want to participate. Remember, you have to anticipate to participate. So where's our outside edges? Well, this is an outside edge. This is your high volume. This is too high. That is too high. Out here. Now, this is very sloppy, this trade. So this is not clean. So let me just look a little further up the food chain here and see what we got. Low volume node is out here. So basically, this is too high. We fell away from it. This is too high. This is a retail price. This is an outside edge. So I got resistance here. I have outside edge here, outside edge here. So these are areas I want to be observing. I'm going to put an LVN over here also. Now, which way, what to do, this is just a messy kind of a day at the moment, and the data going out just not helpful. So let's watch and see what we can see. Notice the liquidity. Still, it's like somebody pinching you on the butt. But you won't find that in a trading book. And that's what this liquidity is doing. It's pushing. And now we have our buyers here. Who are the buyers? Well, buy stops, LVN outside edge. So we're going to watch the behavior right here. We're back at the VWAP. We want to see the behavior here. Let's watch. VPOC is above us. So outside edge. And this can just keep chugging along. It's very toothy. This is the next high volume area up here. So we want to see this behavior here. Let's just watch it. So this is algorithmic. It's not. Resting liquidity has some meaning. This is just computer, it's algo. So doesn't mean anything for what we do. So we're watching the behavior. Buyers are still in control at the moment. We want to see now. Now our sellers were up around 85. So if we come back up in this area, we want to see if we get behavior. So we have an outside edge up around 83, and our aggressors, let me just look a little further over here. Yeah, 85 is a variable high volume node. If this is accurate. So 85, variable high volume node. So we're going to mark this one also. And now we want to see how far up we come. And these are not trade recommendations. I have holes in my data. I don't have a full picture. But I'm going to try to read it as best I can. But this, and you'll notice what we're getting here, right? This is where the sellers were activated. So it's possible we come back here. So they were absorbed. Now you'll notice there's no MBO data here because I had to reset. Now we're getting a sweep. Let's watch. Okay, we have our sweep. So, and we're coming up to our layer of where the sellers were, 84, 85. So this is an area, this. So let's see, there's our sweep. These are not trade recommendations. I'm back at a high volume level. I'm at an outside edge. So this is an outside edge. We have to see the behavior. Now, these are not trades. I don't call trades, and especially under these conditions, I don't know quite where I'm at. Too high, and we got to watch this right here, this one. So we're watching this here. These are not trade recommendations. We're at an outside edge of this distribution and all of this. So this is like a dividing line. There's going to be stops up in this area. And if we can squeeze it, and I am looking for potential short rotation, that's all I'm talking about here. And it's not a recommendation because I would not be taking any trades now with the problem with the data. So I have no compulsion to trade. And if you feel the urgency to trade, that is FOMO. Especially if you miss the down move, because that, whether you know it or not, that's playing in the back of your head. And you should be taking notes and journaling what you're feeling and what your mind is grabbing onto. For me, my mind would be grabbing onto the down move that I missed. It'd still be in my consciousness. So I'd be trying to concentrate here, and there's another part of my brain that's latched onto what I didn't get, so it's motivating me to get something. Do you feel that? That's what journaling is about. You need to learn. Okay, let's watch. More sweepage. And where's our location? It's out. So if we get above here, we're coming into potential area of resistance. Our sellers were active up around 85-ish. So it's an area to observe. That's what it is. Let's see what it does. The buyers are still in control. And the sellers were pretty motivated up around the 85 level. So this is an area right here. So we're going to watch this area, and it's a range of maybe up to here. And we can have a reversal setting up, and we have to see. So we came outside of here, so I can get rid of this. Now I'm working this area here. If I keep pushing, then my resistance is going to be this high volume, and then it tapers up, and that sets up another location. So I'm watching the progression. So this is out here. So if I push through here, I can come here. So I just have to wait and see. I'm having sweeps here. My sellers are below my buyers. It is suggesting a potential rotation, and I have nothing to do. I'm just a tourist. Let's watch it. If you have questions, give them a post. I'll do my best, all things considered. Things are pretty messed up over here in everything that I look at. Let's see if I can. How we doing in YouTube? Apologies for the data problems. It seems it's across the that everybody had the same problem here. So guys, let's watch this behavior coming up, okay? And again, these aren't trade recommendations. And some of what I discuss here are not structured trades. They are derivative. So I'm just going to try to help you read the auction and order flow. So there are trades that I share that I guess, if you think about, now here's our test. And remember, our area to observe is around 85, 86, up in this area for sellers. So let's see if they show up in here. And it's not a trade recommendation. It's the fact that I look at an area doesn't mean I trade an area. What it means is I'm observing and anticipating behavior. And if I see it, okay, we want to watch the behavior here, right here, very important. This is called VPOC migration. What it's saying is maybe this is too high. Now, the maybe means if this is too low, we can go that way. If this is too high, we're going to break this way. And this is the area. Okay, so we have a confluence at the moment of elements. Let's watch the behavior. Now, some of what I'm doing here is not Trader Lab specific. It is more order flow specific. So it's a derivative and it's an advanced process. This is not part of the structured trading. This is something you learn if you're in Trader Lab to be able to read this and to understand what it means. So if I understand, this is why I said this was the area, right? Now, it's not about knowing. I have no clue. So, if you come to Trader Lab, you're not going to have a clue either. You're going to be like the rest of us, operating in a random environment that's 100% random 100% of the time. What you will be able to learn is to understand why something happens in the market. Why did it happen? Why is this important over here? Why? Because these buyers were absorbed. So what I know is the sellers are here. Notice, if I come back there, what might I anticipate if I come back there? Sellers, right? So that's why I said, 85, And where is it? It's right there. Where'd we come? Right here. This is short. Now, it's an advanced process. It is not necessarily a structured trade in the Trader Lab, and it's more advanced. But the idea of structured trades is to help you learn to understand market mechanics. How does the market work? Why did it come up here, and why was it an opportunity to sell? And again, it doesn't mean that anything more than it's either going to be a stop or it's going to rotate. If I can understand that, you can understand it. And I am the indicator, remember, because I'm processing this in my mind and I'm reading a language. I'm not dependent on backwards looking lagging indicators. If I understand what's going on, I already know this is an area to observe. This is what understanding auction is about. Market mechanics. I don't use anything else because everything else I've used in the past, just like you, and you can pick it. Doesn't matter. I've done it. Probably. And there's always new derivatives of old things. They're still all the same, you know? I mean, before Keltner channels, we had Bollinger Bands. Tell me what's so different. So, Fibonacci. Sure. Go on and on and on and on. But it's not about a right or wrong concept. It's about a what speaks to you concept. Can you guys see the short over here? Are you guys tracking? How are we doing in YouTube? Please give a like. In spite of it all, I was able to let you guys anticipate a trade, see it set up, see the trigger, etc. And that's the best anybody, I think, can do in real time. And I don't call trades because why do you need to take my stop? But look how order flow can help you. This told us to be anticipating sweep. This is all order flow related. I go back and I look at my chart and I know what this represents. You'll learn that. And if you're not a Bookmap subscriber, I think, order flow is a piece that most retail traders never get to because they're all hung up on time frames and indicators. And, I have found that it is not time frames and it's certainly not indicators. It is something called fractals. So a time frame, fine, is a clock-based process. In order flow, I find it's fractal. The fractal is the time it takes for the auction to complete. This is an auction right here. I mean, too high, too low, and you've got two sides battling right here. Right here. Now, the buyers are here. When the sellers break below the buyers, that's support. It broke. Now, where's resistance? Isn't it up here? Because the sellers were absorbing here. So if I have a trigger and I come back up here and I can't take these guys out. Now, who are these guys? The passive sellers. Then hasta la vista. If I come back to check them right there, isn't it possible that we would use it as a location because we know there were sellers here? And if you want to sell something and somebody says, hey, I'll here. And it was down here, you didn't want to sell it because it was already on sale, but it comes back here. If you sold over there, would you sell over here? That's the question. And I'm going to say maybe. And then if you have the behavior and you see the passive side, the limit order book, and you are at a location, real estate, it's a short. Now, where to? That's a different concept. It's not for me to predict. I can manage my trade. Now, that's why I'm saying this is not a structured trade. But, here's the thing about this. The triggers are the same. The rotations are random. If you accept randomness, then you have to have a plan. If this only might come here and then come all the way back and continue going up, why not? Or this is too high. We counter rotate and then we continue lower. Do you know what it's going to do? I'm going to tell you, I don't know. It's not my job to know because I can't know. So if I know I can't know, then my job is to take the trades that have a statistical edge, if I have one, to manage the trade and just go on to the next trade. It is over a large sample size of interactions that the edge shows up. It's not this one event. This is just one of thousands you'll take in a career, and they're all random. This is what drives us nutty because we're looking for certainty and predictability, which doesn't exist in this business. So then what is certain? How you interact and what you do. And it needs to be certain. So all the work is done outside of trading hours. You really bring your plan to the game. I mean, if you think about, we had the Super Bowl here, and basically you bring your plan to the game, and then it's performance. This is a performance sport. You have the plan, and then you execute the plan. And if you perform well and you have an edge with your plan, you will, over time, extract dollars from the opposite side. If you don't have an edge, or you're just making it up, then you're sitting at the slot machine in the casino. And then you might as well just get the cocktails and the ticket to the buffet while you're at it, versus doing it here. So remember, your job's not to keep busy. Your job is not to be looking for trades. Your job is to just do your thing and bring your game plan to the game. Hope that makes sense. And that's what Trader Lab is built on. It's about business. The business is not playing a video game. The business is understanding how the market works, taking a trade that fits you. Now, what do we anticipate? If this is a short, what's down here? The mid and the VWAP. What do you get at the mid and the VWAP? Retail trader behavior. Is the market going up? Well, maybe. Or is it going to go down from here? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? This was too high. It's a variable high volume node. That little yellow line. I'm going to mark it. It's resistance. Why? Because we left it. I'm not paying that. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Huh. What about this one? It's resistance right there. I'm going to put another one over here. It's high volume. So what I know is I have resistance right above me, right where I am, and I have an outside edge possibly below me. This. And it's all very nasty looking. I'm going to tell you, this structure here is just nasty. So we'll see how we behave here. Remember, this is the area where the sellers were, which is here and there. So these are our areas to observe. Let's see what it does. I've only got about 7 minutes. I appreciate your patience with the data problems today. Seems we all got pretty lucky with that. You're trading. You always need to be trading with stops. You should have your orders server side. They should be OCOs. Because you never know if you're going to lose connection. And you do not want, if you're running a strategy process, it's probably local. It's being managed in your computer. You want OCOs and their server side. Confirm where your orders are. Now, if you're trading a funded account, I have no idea. But for those of us who trade live accounts, if you do trade a live account or your own account, make sure that your orders are OCOs. Very important. It has saved me more times than I care to remember that things got ugly, like internet goes out or something, and if you're running strategy orders, you're stuck. And you don't know where your orders are if when everything gets all totally messed up. If it's local, if it's strategy orders, typically they're managed off your computer. OCOs, if you're running a bracket with OCO, those are still sitting on the server. So confirm that. The last thing you want to do is be sitting out here with orders that are lost and you don't know where you're at if you're, So, happened to me. Then you can find yourself offsetting an order that was already offset, and then you're upside down in a market that's ripping. Whatever can go wrong does go wrong. So be prepared. Please give a like if you're in YouTube. I don't know if I like today, but I don't like what happened with the data, of course, but I hope you got to see something useful today. If you want to visit the Trader Lab, there's a link in the bottom of YouTube. You're all invited. It's a community of like-minded traders that have come together. It's a very active community. This is kind of what it looks like. You haven't seen this, and there's a lot going on in here. A lot of interaction. narration, charts, targeting, interaction. A lot going on. You're all welcome to this. And there's a library of webinars. Let me see if I can get that in here and show it to you. Start with the primer webinar. There's no cost for this. It's in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. This is about an hour. It gives you a high-level overview. Are you a trader or gambler? Day trading, why most traders using indicators fail. Trapped in Trader Groundhog Day. That's when you're working hard, waking up with the same outcome. By the way, we all have winning trades. Doesn't take any skill to have a winning trade. Don't confuse a winning trade with actually having an edge. They're not the same thing. Gamblers have winning hands, but the casinos extracted dollars from the gamblers. Psychological things. And then there's a list of documents you can download. Thanks, Ned, for curating this. Ned keeps everything organized for us. Thanks. 60 structured trades that I show: opening, content, alignment, balance, mean reversion structures, explanation, auction market theory, what is the context. These are contributions by many of our different participants, research that's done, overcoming and understanding mental obstacles, and a lot more. And then streams going back. If you're interested in my live narration, I have streams in the library that go up to 5 hours of real-time narration. So if you want to see real-time narration, if you can sit through something that's 4 or 5 hours long, there's a bunch of them in there. So you can see that also, where I do live narration with in real time as it develops. Kind of like what I was doing with this right here, but all over the place. Trend configurations, big moves, and then when it transitions into rotational behavior, it's a different trade plan. These are the kinds of things that we explore and work on in Trader Lab, and you're all invited. You can use that link in the bottom of YouTube. There's no cost, and I'd certainly look forward to meeting you in the Trader Lab. Please give a like on the way out. This stream is not going to be available. I don't think anybody wants to watch us all scratching our heads about how do we get data. So this one will just be in the Trader Lab if you want to watch it. It's not going to be out on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we won't have any more data issues. And please give the like. Use the link in the bottom of YouTube if you're interested in the Bookmap Discord Trader Lab community. There's no cost for it, and it's a great community. It's about the business of trading. It's for serious traders. It's a serious environment where we're all working together. There's a lot takes to do this: research, sharing of ideas, continuing education, and the commitment to become part of a community in order to build out your business. And the Trader Lab is really about the business of trading. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for visiting the Trader Lab. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And this stream is available exclusively to Bookmap Discord Trader Lab participants to review if you're inclined. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks again, and thanks for your patience with all the data problems.